We are here with Mike Dreitzer, who is the CEO of Gaming Arts. And Mike, Gaming Arts has been around a while.
Right.
And you've exhibited here before, but it's still a fairly small company that not everybody's entirely familiar with. So describe Gaming Arts to us.
Well, historically, Gaming Arts was in the bingo and keno space. About 5 years ago when I joined, we got into the slot space. So we are a full-service, end-to-end provider. We do everything from continuing to do bingo and keno as well as slots and other casino tech. So we really want to offer enterprise-wide solutions to our customers, and we feel, having gotten in the slot business now, we're able to do that and we have a fuller offering. So we continue to grow. We've put our first slot out in April of 2019, and we had a little thing called COVID in between. And so we continue to grow all facets of the business.
You've been CEO for how long now?
So I've been CEO for about 1.5 years.
Okay, so you've had long enough to begin to assert yourself and make a mark.
Right.
What have you accomplished in that 1.5 years, and what do you hope to accomplish, say, in the next 1.5 years?
Well, you know, early on we were in the throes of COVID. I had been with the company for 5 years and just CEO more recently. I had been promoted, and so we were initially worried about survival. And we made 2 bets: one in the R&D area, where we kept building games, and one in sales, where sales kept visibility with our customers. So early on we were coming out of COVID. Now we get to play a little offense, which is fun. So we are developing our product lines. We've launched a new box within the last year called the Vertex cabinet. It's a single screen, 49-inch, that is doing very well out there. We're very excited about that. We have some very interesting initiatives, one of which is Brian Christopher's game, which I'm sure you'll ask me about. We also have done an online deal. We're exclusive provider to Bally GameSys. So we've gotten into the online space as well. So we continue, as I say, it's bank by bank. We believe that every casino in North America and ultimately the world should have at least 1 or 2 banks of gaming arts. We try to be different in everything we do. We try to offer something that is very unique. We also have a ETG product, which is interesting. We call it a pit in a box. The new offering has 8 games in it. So we're doing all different things to have a better offering overall for our customer. And we're pretty excited about the response so far, and we look forward to showing a whole new set of games and casino technology here at Global Gaming 2022.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a curve at you, okay?
Sure.
Tell me about the Brian Christopher game.
Okay, right. So initially we're wanting to do something that was very unique and novel, right? Because we see a lot of slow follow, fast follow in this industry, where people see what works and then they jump on that and then they make their version of a link of this or that. So we looked and we said, what's interesting, what's new, what's cutting edge? And we did a lot of research in the influencer space, and we quickly found out about Brian Christopher as a leading influencer. He has millions of views. He started a few years ago, and he's become a really interesting brand in his own right. And so we said, well, what if we took him and his likeness and his catchphrases and his energy and put it into a slot machine? How are we going to do this? And so we already had the game Pop and Pays that was very, very popular. And we said, well, what if we take these 2 great ideas, this game that has historically done very well for us the last few years, and combine it with the magnificent persona of Brian Christopher and his followers. And so 1 + 1 was 3, and we created Brian Christopher Pop and Pays. And so the response on that game has been tremendous. It has been our most successful launch to date so far. And it continues to perform well in excess of 2 times house average, in some cases as high as 6 times house average. Brian has a very big personality, has a strong connection to the people that follow him. It was interesting when we did an opening party at the Plaza. People came up to us like we were rock stars, saying, "You did the Brian Christopher game, can you sign our shirts?" type thing. So it's very compelling. Clearly, there's nothing else like it. It's not a Me Too. It's not a fast follow. It's not a slow follow. And so we're super excited. And now at G2E, it's come even full circle. Brian has been involved with Carnival Cruises, and so are we. So we're giving away a fair amount of cruises here each of the days of the show. And we're super excited about working now together, not only with Brian, but with Carnival Cruise as well. So it's a fun game. It has all of his sayings. It has a lot of personality. And I think, if the early rollout has been any indication, we have a really significant hit on our hands.
He definitely is a personality. I've mentioned before to you, I believe that I was on a panel with him several years ago, and he is just lights up a stage.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, very interesting how he did it. He started off pre-COVID into COVID and made all these videos that then his followers kept watching. And there's a really super strong connection, many of whom have very personal stories about how Brian's videos and gameplay helped get them through COVID, because it was just brilliant entertainment. And so they're loyal, they're growing, and they really enjoy the game, and they enjoy the connection to Brian at that level. So we look forward to continuing to grow that relationship. I know in hearing and talking around the industry, people were like interested in it and saying, well, let's see how it does. We jumped in. We did it. We knew there was a risk, but with Brian, it was an absolute risk we were willing to take, and it's proven to pay great dividends.
You mentioned electronic table games.
Yep.
Is that just sort of a one-off that happened, or is that going to be a new product line for you?
So we have always wanted to get into electronic table game space, and we thought, well, what's the best form factor for it? Obviously, there's a lot of these, spaceship type that take up a lot of floor space, and they've done very, very well. We thought maybe we should do something different. So what we did was we put games in a box that is in a slot form factor. And that does a few things. Number one, it doesn't take up a lot of space. Number two, it gives players the opportunity to actually learn the game. Because if you sit down in a community setting, it's great, but for some people it's intimidating. So they'd rather learn craps quietly in a single player box. And the other piece too is you can sit down and play table games, and maybe the people you're with, your husband, your wife, your friends, they can be playing a slot machine nearby. So you can still have a communal experience, but one can play the electronic table game and the other person can play a slot. So for all these reasons, and then during COVID, when they removed a lot of the pits, they were looking for replacements for people to play blackjack and other games and craps. And roulette. So this really filled that niche, and since then it's grown. We're expecting it to be this sort of steady Eddie opportunity to offer what we call a pit in the box. But it's grown significantly to the point now in the Casino Wizard VIP in the Vertex box, we have 8 games. And so it's the original 4 that people enjoy, plus another 4 games, including a proprietary game. So we're offering a lot more fun within the box, and opportunities for people to really feel as though they're in a pit, but at the same time have some immediacy just in the one-player environment.
Your company was founded by a guy who identifies himself as a serial entrepreneur.
That's right.
You're privately owned still, obviously. Yes. Is being a public company something that may be in your future?
So I think what we're focusing on now is, yes, our owner, David Colvin, is a serial entrepreneur, and he has been the visionary behind this, and really had a view of what it was going to take to get in the space, and has committed to it. Right now, we're focusing on the process, right? The process is to continue to make games, be able to sell them, service them, get them out, and continue to grow the amount of games that we can put out on a monthly basis. And so it's a process. Now, where that process leads, it potentially could lead to a public offering. It could lead in any number of directions. We believe if we follow our process and we make quality games at a fair price, and we put them out and service them well and support them well, that the process will lead us to the right spot. Right now, it's an organic process where we're going out and we are literally, it's bank by bank. It's strategic. I need a bank in every casino in North America. And then once you get a bank and it out-earns its floor space, then you earn the right for a second bank, and that sort of thing. So we're following this process, and I think it's probably a little bit too early to say that we'll end up as a public company. Obviously, those public companies within our space have enjoyed great success, and so that's sort of something, in essence, we can sort of think about it, but really it's about our process day to day, getting product on all floors across North America, and we're also starting to dabble a little bit in other parts of the world as well. So we're focused on the process, not the end result. And we may get there, it may end up that way, it may end up where we just keep growing, but at this point it's literally block and tackle, bank by bank, casino by casino.
You are a relatively small company.
Yep.
Going up against companies, in many cases, have much greater resources than you do.
Right.
How do you compete against them? How do you set yourself up as, this is our competitive advantage, you need to have some of our games on your floor?
Well, I think you try and be different. You try and be unique. I think the Brian Christopher game demonstrates that. I think the electronic table game in one box, pit in a box, represents that as well. And our customers want variety. They're definitely, of course, a majority space for the largest 3 or 4 vendors in our space. But of course, they want variety. They want innovation. They want different games. We feel, we're bringing something different to the casino floor, and there'll always be room for something different that works. And so, we're very excited about being able to be that point of difference. And I think as long as we're innovating and as long as we're providing something that's different. Now, when you try things that are different, sometimes you swing and miss. And we've had a few of those for sure. But at the end of the day, our customers are our partners, and they're rooting for us, and they want us to be able to, offer games on the floor, and they work with us until we find something that succeeds. But you're absolutely right. I mean, we have a fraction of the R&D dollars that our competitors have, and yet we're expected to perform, at or better than what the competitors perform at. And I like to say we work miracles daily. We are able to really leverage our small but mighty R&D group and have games that do sit side by side with the hits across the other companies and do very well. So it's a long process. As we all say in this industry, it takes longer than we want it to, for sure. But at the same time, it's very rewarding, and we are grateful to our customers when they give us a chance. And over time, once we figure out the right games for their floor, their belief and faith in us is rewarded. And we're going to continue to delight them and grow our footprint bank by bank.
We are at G2E.
Yep.
People expect to see or hope to see the newest and the best. What are the 1 or 2 products they absolutely must see at your booth?
Well, you have to meet our small but mighty Kung Fu Empress, which is a game in our Vertex cabinet. It's a delightful game. Spunky Kung Fu Empress, she gets into all sorts of misadventures and fights, and the graphics on it are amazing, and the gameplay is amazing. It's done very, very well. We are, of course, showing games that are new, but we're also showing games that are proved and ready to go, because we know our customers want stuff yesterday. Yeah. So I would highly recommend everybody stop by and meet our little Kung Fu Empress. And then, of course, we're going to have Brian Christopher at the booth each day. And so, we look forward to continuing to expose that game to players everywhere. And in addition to that, we have Ocean Phoenix, which is this multiplayer fishing game with our partner Jumbo from Taiwan. And I invite people to come and check that out as well. We had it last year. We continue to roll that out across North America. So we're going to have a lot of fun this year. I have never, ever been more excited. I've been doing this a long time, as I know you have. We've all been to 20, 30, 40, 50 shows. But it's a very exciting time. And we are displaying in a new booth, brand new booth. And we're sort of in Broadway, if you will, right up Main Street in Broadway. And so we're super excited, and it's always great to see everybody. And yes, it does feel like, COVID, if not behind us, it's definitely been integrated into our world, and we all manage that risk. And now we're able to continue and meet up like this. And it's a blessing, and we're all humbled to be able to gather like this, because not long ago we couldn't. So we're very excited and look forward to the great opportunities and renewing great friendships and great relationships at G2E.
That sounds like a great note on which to end. Thank you for your insights.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Frank. We appreciate your support.